Hello, my fellow rebels. I am more to me for life, and sadly today we have no one riding shotgun. But this is going to be a very quick video going over something that, as I promised, we are going to go over the things that you learn from your research bench. And the reason why this is important, because as you can see from looking at these large amount of rooms, there are a lot of things that you can learn. If you don't know the things that you can learn, because when you start out there are very few workbenches, so you may get the impression that you only need a few rooms. Well, it turns out there's actually a lot you can learn from your workbench. So let's just dive into it and get this out of the way. Alright, you start out with a butcher table, which is great for killing animals. You have to butcher the animals in order for your people to use it for food. So you start with that one. And you start with the electric stove if your characters know about electricity. Otherwise, that's something you will learn from your research bench. And you start with the kitchen table, which is, I'm having a hard time finding it. Oh, fueled stove. Okay, and you have two different stoves. You have the electric stove and a fueled stove. Then you can learn how to do a fueled smithy, the electric smithy. Now the electric ones take less time, but also require electricity. So if you haven't quite fleshed out your electrical grid, this might be a pain because you won't be able to use these items or your electric stove while your power's out. Let's see, we've got a stone cutter's table, a brewery. You can actually make your own beer, but you have to grow, as you can see up here, you have to grow your hops plants in order to brew them. And then you have to have your fermenting barrels, and then that. And the fermenting barrels go right next to it. If I can move it up on the screen. As you can see, the fermenting barrels go right beside the table. And there's a few of them that work this way. They have to go next to each other. You do learn how to make your own components, but they are highly expensive. It uses a lot of steel. This is the research bench I'm talking about, and mine is laid up here. This is the research bench and your research items. This is the area down here where you go to assign research. You'll need to do that as soon as you start a game. Assign them something to learn. And these are the 5,000 things you can actually learn through your research bench. As you can see, I am completely researched. Now, back to the benches. You can learn to do your components. The high-tech research bench, I have one down here. Right here, I currently have it turned off because there's no point in powering it anymore. That one does have to have electricity, and since I'm done researching, I don't need it on anymore. So I turn it off to conserve power. And you do have to finish doing some research in order to get your high-tech research bench. After you get this, it opens up new things for you to learn how to do, such as your comms console and, let's see, I think the electric crematorium. I'm not sure if I could only learn that one once I had the other bench. The deep drill, I know that's from the high-tech one. Oh, your nutrient paste dispenser is here. As you can see, it's up here near my kitchen, but not in my kitchen because it'd be a little too crowded. And I have got a fueled stove and an electric stove. That way, if I run out of wood, I can still make food, because it has happened. My wood reserve goes here. And I think the last time I played, there was either a fire or something had happened and got rid of a lot of wood. I actually had to plant trees. Let's see, what else did we find? Machining table, which is actually pretty great. Smithing non-mechanical weapons and tools. Drug lab, which I'll be honest with you, I have not learned a whole lot of drugs. Let's see. Making malaria block. The problem is in order to do that, you have to have this chemical, and I don't know of a way to make this chemical. So that would actually be a problem. The only place I found it is by buying off traders. So if you learn anything about this, let me know, because I would really dearly love to make my own medicine and malaria block. Let's see what else is on the menu. Power. You do have to research how to do the geothermal. You start out with the wind turbine. I think you have to research, depending on what kind of group you have, you may have to research the solar generators. I started out with the battery, the fuel generator, and the power conduits, and I think I might have even had to research this, but I'm not positive. This may have started me out too. But the battery, I'm pretty sure, you know, there's actually a way we can find out. Let's see. Passive cooling batteries. So you had to research that one. Okay, so you don't start out with the batteries. And my battery reserve is right here, going at about half battery right now. What is this? Oh, we have stuck a big round sculpture called Trouble of Tiffy. Poor Tiffy. Always has trouble. Okay, and under miscellaneous, we have got a cryo sleep casket, which is what you would have to have if you actually intend to take your people off-world, otherwise they will die along the way. You start out with the marriage spot, the party spot, in case you want to assign where you want those to happen, because people will get married and they will throw little parties, which is absolutely cute. The orbital trade beacon, mine is right here. Let me zoom in so you can see it. There's mine. And the comms console, and the fire foam popper, I have not actually installed one of those, but it's supposed to put fires out for you in that location. Moisture pumps. And I do not have one currently installed, but say you want to build over an area that's got a swamp, it would actually pump the water out of that area so you could build. So if I wanted to, I could actually enclose this area, but I figured I really didn't care about doing that. Ground penetrating scanner. I'm not exactly sure precisely what this does, if this actually just deposits some of the stuff for you, or if you have to interact with it in some way. I have not worked on that part yet. Multi-analyzer. Increases work speed, which mine is over here and currently turned off because I finished it. Obviously it worked very, very well in increasing my research speed. And vital stat monitor. These, let me see. See, we've got a hospital bed here. And in order for this hospital bed to work, you have to have the vital scanner next to it. As you can see, I've got one here. And then the tool cabinet actually increases your speed of working on different workbenches, so I recommend putting those anywhere you have a workbench. You can see this one is actually hooked up to a crafting spot, the components assembly, and the machining table. And this one's hooked up to that, and that. I guess nothing is hooked up to the smelter. I don't know why. Okay, and we start with the graves and the sarcophagus. And my graveyard is here. I got very, very tired of that, so I have got my crematorium thing, and that is actually great because it takes care of so much. I don't have to worry about the bodies anymore. But I do recommend putting a small stockpile right here and designating it for bodies, rotten human corpses or whatever. That way, instead of, say, taking the bodies all the way outside by one person and then another colonist having to pick it up and take it all the way back in, it kind of eats up time, which I have not done. It didn't occur to me until like yesterday to do that. Alright, armchairs, we got tables, plant pots. I've got some of those, but everybody's so busy, nobody will plant them. They just ignore it. We do have torch lights. As you can see, I opted for those in most everywhere. Not only do they add a little bit of heat to the room, yes, they do add heat to your room. So if you're playing in a tropic area like I am, may not be a good idea for a small location. And then we've also got the regular standing lamps that eat up electricity. I used to have those everywhere and took them out. And now I've got a red, a green, and a blue lamp. And then I got sun lamp, which you can see them over here by my hydroponics. And those eat up massive amounts of electricity. We got equipment racks. And as you can see, these only house your weapons. So I've got all my weapon racks inside every single room. Which, if I had thought about it, I would have put like a war room somewhere, so it would have been easier to find all the weapons instead of having to scan all the way around the map. So, tip for later on the next build. And then you got a sleeping spot, which is actually just a dirt patch where you tell them to sleep. They're not very happy about that. You've got your regular beds. Get off of that. Get out of that. The double beds, the royal beds, which require gold to build. And I'm assuming this would probably be a very good sleep. Animal spot, this would be for the bigger animals. I've got several spots down here for my bigger creatures. Let's see, I've got Radar. Where are you, Prudence? Prudence, where are you? Oh my goodness, where is Prudence? She's floating around somewhere. Anyway, she's my cow. She keeps having cat. There she is. Wonderful little Prudence, but she doesn't like the floor really. She'd rather sleep in the big beds. And the animal beds, you can make them out of different types of fur, but these are also for the bigger animals. These animal sleeping boxes are for your smaller animals like the chickens, and I think at one point I had some little dogs running around. somewhere. I think I may have gotten rid of all of them finally. Oh, there's Klondike. Yeah, I think I finally managed to get rid of all of them. The only problem is sometimes when you get a trader, they may not have enough money to buy all what you want to sell. Alright, we got our stool and our dining table, which we got some stools, we got some tables over here. And I don't think I installed any actual just stools. I think I just made it chairs because I like chairs better. Oh, we have one plant. Look at that. Two plants. Out of all of the ones that we have planted somewhere, there's two. Okay, and temperature, we've got the passive cooler, which if you will notice over here, whenever I click on it, it will run out and self-destruct after several days. So I have not built not a damn one of those because I don't want it exploding. Then we've got a heater. If the area gets cold, you're definitely going to need those. Coolers for the refrigerators. Got one here, one up here for my medicine. I have one down here. This is where my hops and my beer go whenever they're being brewed, but currently we do not have a full crop in. And then we have a vent, and this vent goes between two rooms. Say if I wanted to put one here, it would equalize the temperature between the two rooms. So if one of them was cooler, it would cool off the other room or heat up the other room. Say if you need to put it in a heater in one room, put a vent in between, it'll heat up both rooms. So that kind of helps. I guess if you wanted to, you could probably put a passive one right here. I mean a vent here. And some of the cool air from this area would actually leak into the hallway and keep people cooled off, but at the same time you'd have to worry about your food going bad, so probably not a good idea. Alright, Joy, you start out with the horse pen. I'm pretty sure you start with the chess table and the billiards. Maybe. I'm not sure if you start with the billiards. I think you do. But I know you have to study for the tube television. And I did have one installed up here, but I took it out because it was eating up electricity. Oh, little piggy. Hey, little piggy. I'm going to call that one Wilbur. Alright, and of course the ship things. If you decide you actually want to at the end, or if you have one of those settings that require you to get off planet within a certain amount of time, then you're definitely going to have to build a ship. And you've got the structural beam, the cryo sleep caskets that you attach to it so your people can sleep. Then you've got the core that tells your computer where to go, the reactor, and then the engine. So all those bits and pieces to it, and I'm pretty sure everything costs an outrageous amount. So have fun with that one because I have not even gotten that far. Alright, under security you start with the sandbags. You can learn the improvised turrets, the mortars, the incendiary mortars, the EMP, the deadfall traps you start with, the IED you do not, and the IED incendiary trap you do not start with. Those are learned items. I think that might actually be it. Alright, navigating this little area down here, we've got our order, structure, furniture, security, floors, ship, zone, area, production, power, miscellaneous, joy, and temperature, and all of these things we are actually going to get into on the next film, or the next video. That way we can actually go through teaching us how to use these things to better work with our colonists. That way we can be very, very protective whenever we start our next one. But that, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is everything. I'm actually going to get into each individual item and things that you need to remember. As such, I think I mentioned in my last video the orbital trade beacon being next to a stockpile for the traders to actually trade with. So we'll get into stuff like this, specifics of it, in one of our later videos. There are a lot of things to cover. So I think that will be it. Let me know if there is a particular area that you actually have a question about. There are a lot of things. How to handle prisoners, how to set up trade beacons, how to organize your electricity, how to get the colonists to actually create their food and keep up with it on their own, and how to assign items and work schedules and things. Which part of it do you have questions about? Is there any particular area that you would like to know more information? And if I don't know, I will sit here and fiddle with this until I figure it out, and I will definitely get back to you with the answer. But that has been all I have for today. I think the next video should be up in just a couple of days, and we'll get into another one of these little details, and hopefully we can get a little more interesting a whole lot faster as we move on and get into the nit and gritty of RimWorld. I am more to me for life, and I hope you have had a wonderful time. I have. You have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, and a wonderful 5 o'clock somewhere. Bye-bye.